Happy Twin Tuesday!
Happy Twin Tuesday!
Whoop, whoop.
Getting better at that.
Oh yeah, Dr. Johanna.
And Dr. Madeline, as you're jumping on, come on and drop us some emojis, say hey. And if you're catching a replay, put a replay down there and we'll make sure to come back and check your comments and respond to them. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And so let's introduce ourselves first.
Yeah, again, I'm Dr. Johanna.
And I'm Dr. Madeline.
And where are we at?
We're at Atlas Chiropractic Center in St. Pete, Florida.
St. Pete, Florida.
And we're doing Twin Tuesdays because we are identical twin chiropractors.
Yep, we work together in the same office, and like she said, at Atlas Chiropractic Center, which is in St. Petersburg, Florida. I would say it's like centrally located in St. Pete on 38th Avenue, right past 49th Street.
And what we specialize in pregnant and postpartum care in the office. So if you know you're going to get pregnant through your pregnancy journey, supporting you in postpartum, not just with aches and pains if they pop up. We help with easier labors, easier recoveries. We check your kiddos when they come out, all of the above. We're here to support you and empower you in that process.
Absolutely.
Right?
So what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about how do you haven't experienced this yet, but
no, but
what do you like as a mom, and it's just bound to happen when that first instance that your precious baby starts to roll and move and they roll off the couch and hit the floor, or they fall off the bed or something like that. Like, holy moly, like what do we do? What do we need to think about? What are some things?
So the first thing you would do, obviously, just like if you were in a major accident, is you would call your doctor. So of course, call their pediatrician. Make sure you schedule an appointment to get that all cleared and make sure that they are taken care of, because the pediatrician is going to catch major red flags or major issues that may occur from that impact or injury that your baby or your little one could possibly sustain from falling off the couch or rolling off the bed or anything like that. So that's going to be stop one. But when you realize that this stuff is happening, okay, first you're going to do your regular thing. You're going to go see your pediatrician. And then after that appointment's made, maybe even before you go to that appointment, who is the next person you're going to call?
Your chiropractor.
Yep, not Ghostbusters. But your chiropractor. And you're going to want to call your pediatric chiropractor because, of course, we have additional training in how to treat kiddos and little ones. So just like a little information for you guys so you know, when we're in school, you take like a couple of week class on how to adjust a baby or a kiddo. So that's all great and fine, but you may want someone that has additional hours in training. So those additional seminars you can take. So if you ever look around and you find someone that actually feels comfortable with that, that's the reason why. Because we took additional classes outside of school to see your little ones and make sure that they feel comfortable and you feel comfortable when they're here.
Sure.
So why would we want to be the second stop for that person?
Because your baby did fall, and as much as maybe it was a long ways, maybe it was a short ways, there's still stress and motion that went into baby's body.
Yep. So even if a little impact happens, they are they're mainly cartilage at this age for a good reason, because they can sustain a lot of impacts and things like that. But with that being said, the first time a baby's spine usually misaligns, so it kinks out of alignment, which can be just millimeters, but that's enough to apply pressure on the nerve that comes out in that area. And if a nerve is compressed, that can cause usually in adults, you'll notice aches and pains and discomforts, but in kiddos, they may not actually experience the pain when a nerve is pinched, but they will have a loss of function or of motion. So commonly, ways that I would know a baby is subluxated, which is when the spine is misaligned, without obviously them verbalizing that they're in pain or something like that, can be that they only turn their head to one side.
Sure.
Or they only nurse on one side. Or if you're bottle feeding, they only want to take the bottle in a certain position first versus doing it on both sides or changing up that routine. And that would indicate that baby is out of alignment. The first time that usually happens is birth. Actually through birth, because they're coming through the birth canal, which is a tight little squeeze as they're coming out.
Sometimes they're assisted through that canal, or if it was a C-section, they definitely had to be lifted out of that. So there's a lot of, and it's just putting stress on that spine. You can think of it that way.
Right. So if they're going to get misaligned in the birth canal coming out, wouldn't you agree that if they had an impact and they fell or they slid off something or anything, that could cause a misalignment in the spine as well?
Yeah. Absolutely.
110%.
Yeah.
So that's why after you call your pediatrician and you set up that appointment, you're going to call your pediatric chiropractor and set up an eval or just what we would call like a re-exam or a check-in to make sure that your little one's okay.
Right.
So with that being said, when you would come into the office, are we going to x-ray and what are we going to do? How are we going to know that something's going on and that your little one's spine is out of line?
When we're going to talk to parent, we're going to get a history, we're going to talk to you and see what's going on.
Yep.
We have other ways of checking. We're not going to x-ray your baby.
If
it was at something so traumatic happened
Yes.
that there was those red flags and that information you were giving us was telling us that maybe your baby needs to be x-rayed, that is absolutely a case where we're going to co-manage out and refer you out to your primary
and your pediatrician,
to make sure the case is handled effectively and the best way possible across the board for baby.
Yep.
But in our office, like, we're not normally going to x-ray them. So again, if there are certain situations and when we're talking to you to tell us that the trauma was that bad that we need to be thinking about that, we're going to help talk to your pediatrician about that.
Yep. But we're going to do a very thorough exam after we do a thorough history, right? Because then mom or dad's going to come in and tell us what happened. Baby fell off the couch. Baby fell off the bed. I dropped baby. It happens. We're all human. We don't care. Just tell us the truth and what's going on so we know the best way to help you and baby. And then we're going to do a thorough exam. And when we're looking at little kiddos, you evaluate them differently than what you would an adult. Because an adult, I can give you directions, and you're going to hopefully listen and do what Simon says or Dr. Johanna says. Not as simple when they're little because, you know, he responds to when I talk to him, but he doesn't know. He doesn't exactly do what I would say to actually do. So there are special reflexes that babies have that we can check for that are normal at certain ages. They have just certain mobilities that should be happening that, again, we can check them for to see if things are normal. And when we touch them and we're going to see if they're out of alignment, a lot of times, especially when they're really young, like newborns, a lot of times if they're sleeping, they sleep through that whole entire process. If they're awake, they may not. Or if they're stirring, they'll probably wake up. But with that being said, it's just a light pressure.
Right, like what? Like I'm checking a tomato. That's that type of pressure for
So I don't know about you guys, but when I check to see if a tomato is ripe at the grocery store, I'm not crushing it. And juice isn't flying everywhere. I'm using a nice, soft, gentle touch because tomatoes are very sensitive and they bruise easily. And they're delicate.
Like babies.
So babies are delicate too. So we're just using a light touch to see what is out of alignment, and then when we do an adjustment, we do a light touch as well. Right?
Exactly.
Cool.
And what are some other, we talked a little bit about some other things that we see babies for, because typically babies aren't coming to us when we would not really know they're in pain. They can't communicate that to us. So we're seeing functional changes in them. So we talked about latching, not wanting to breastfeed as much as one side as the other, or bottle feed if you're switching sides. What are some other things we see? Colic, indigestion, constipation, gas. Chiropractic can do really, really well. When the kids get a little bit older, ear infections. A lot of times we can help kiddos avoid like getting their adenoids removed and tubes in the ears by a gentle chiropractic adjustment to keep everything moving in the right direction. That way you don't have to go down that path. We also, as the kid gets older, bedwetting responds very awesome. You know what's a big one?
What?
Asthma.
Asthma.
That's not one of the reasons you became a chiropractor?
That's one of the reasons I became a chiropractor was because of asthma. Because I was getting adjusted as a kid and young teen and my asthma got better and that was the only thing that would improve it. So fast forward, what we're seeing a lot in the office is moms and dads bringing their kids in and they're having like these chronic coughs or they are getting a lot of respiratory issues throughout the changes in the season. And what usually happens is they'll do steroid, inhalers, they'll do nebulizers, but the kid's not fully responding.
Do a round of antibiotics just to roll everything out.
But maybe the kid's not really responding. Like that cough is still there, or that type of sickness keeps reoccurring. And actually, getting adjusted boosts your immune system. We talked about this a couple Twin Tuesdays back. So because of that, you can help reduce these chronic coughs down in these kiddos. And then there's some additional things you may want to look into, which we're at least well versed in to either refer you or to give you that information that could be additionally causing these asthma-like symptoms. So that is actually a huge saving grace. And usually when I post something about that, I'll tell you you. No matter if it's like on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, I usually get a couple of hits from several people saying, that is what improved for me when I went to the chiropractor.
Yeah.
That's why I took my child to the chiropractor, because I heard it can help improve asthma, and it did. It did in that case.
I have a patient who will tell you when she was younger, they used to go to their local chiropractor in their community, and she was in an asthma attack. It was like a Saturday, and they would go over there and he would adjust her and help her out of her asthma attack, and helped
How
manage
awesome
it that way.
is that?
That's pretty
Because
cool.
I was stubborn as a kid, and I hated taking those inhalers, and they never worked, and they're steroid based, which is really bad for your makeup and for your bones and all of that stuff, especially when you're taking it for a prolonged period of time from such a young age all the way on, because a lot of times they don't take you off that stuff. So just a little food for thought when it comes to that. So we do see asthma, and that helps a lot with proper alignment and adjustment of the spine.
It just boils down to, if your child is having issues and you don't really want to throw drugs and medication at it, chiropractic is a fantastic way to help them manage those symptoms. We're just helping their body work better.
Yes.
Just keep it that simple. You can ask us way more detailed questions if you come in, or you want to shoot us a message or something, but you can keep it as simple as, we just help them function better.
Yeah.
We help them heal better, which means all of those other issues tend to resolve a lot quicker and without drugs and medications. Not all case, not medical advice, but
No.
we see a lot of cool changes here.
Yeah, and I just want to like put the cherry on top, because a lot of things that I'm seeing more common over the past couple of years. I've been in practice for almost 10 years, if you can believe that. Almost, not quite, but almost. Like, it's bananas. That's so crazy. I'm aging myself now. Anywho, what I've been seeing, what I've been seeing more commonly as the years go on, and this is actually adults coming in the office, but also kids too, is that they're seeking care because of posture-related problems. So a diagnosable term is something like when you go to the doctor diagnoses you with something. You need it for your insurance and all that, blah, blah, blah. So it happens like in every office you're in. But a diagnosable term is actually text neck. So text neck is when your head comes down forward and your head is further in front of your shoulders, which adds abnormal pressure to the neck and to the upper back. This is called text neck because a lot of times now with technology, kids are constantly in this position, so they're crushing those nerves, which is causing kids to have carpal tunnel-like symptoms from a very early age, something we were not seeing, let's say, 10 years ago, because we didn't have as much of that technology, but now it's like running rampant. I mean, kids are basically born with cell phones. I actually requested that this one was not born with a cell phone. He'll get it later in life. When, I don't know, we'll determine that later. Anywho, so like that is a lot of things that we're seeing is actually posture. Think about your kids' backpacks. If I'm not mistaken, please don't quote me, I can look this up later. I'm almost positive that your kid's backpack is only supposed to weigh like 10% of their body weight. Now, throw some emojis at us if you have kids and you know that your kid's backpack weighs more than 10% of their body weight. I was talking to one of my nieces the other day, and her schedule is so planned out. She has 3 or 4 minutes in between classes to get to the next class, which means there's not enough time to stop at your locker. So they give you lockers and all these big books, but you can't use it. You have to carry all this stuff around. And so then you're adding all that abnormal pressure, and you're changing your child's posture from such an early age. And that's going to cause spinal issues. If your kid is also predisposed and has scoliosis early on, and you throw that heavy backpack on them, do you think it's going to be bad or bad for their posture and their health?
Yes and yes.
Right. It's just going to make it worse. So we're seeing lots of postural issues in the office as far as kids go too, and that's adults as well, because a lot of people are coming in because they don't want to get that old lady hump. We can help with that, and we can help with a lot of things as far as adult posture goes. But back to the kiddos and different things like that.
So let's recap real quick.
Yep, real quick, because I know we always go off on tangents and cover a lot, because there's just so much to be said.
You know. Anyhow, recap. Baby falls off the couch.
Baby falls
or
off
you
the
drop
couch.
them because it happens.
Who do you call
Or bed.
first?
Not Ghostbusters.
No. You call your pediatrician first, right? Set up that appointment so they catch all major red flags and major issues. Second, who are you going to call?
Your chiropractor, your family
pediatric
chiropractor.
family chiropractor. That's who you're going to call, because you want to make sure to get in for an extra adjustment, or if they've never been checked, you want to get them checked to make sure that they didn't cause any misalignments in the spine, because that can affect how they feel and how they function. So we want to make sure that's happening. So let's recap again. What do we see commonly in our office as far as babies newborns, I mean, kiddos in general go.
So not pain. We see latching issues, not
Mm-hmm.
wanting to feed on one side more than the other. We see colic, indigestion, not using the bathroom correctly, not sleeping well,
Constipation, gas,
yes.
ear infections, bedwetting, asthma, bad posture. And I won't go into detail, I did want to throw in there like developmental delay. So if you're seeing right, if you're a mom, especially in the new era of like technology, and you have all these crazy apps, like you think constantly that your baby's like delayed or there's something wrong because your baby's supposed to achieve these milestones at a certain point. Like, don't go down the rabbit hole. But what I want to be said, there is a point where there is like a red flag or there is concern, like my baby's not fully crawling yet and maybe they should be.
Sure.
So that also can be a nerve-related chiropractic thing that chiropractic can help with. So if you're finding that they're delayed or they're not quite where they need to be, you may want to call your pediatric and your family wellness chiropractor as well.
So we hit some top ones. You got off on a tangent again, so I forgot where we were. We recapped why you need to get baby checked, what your protocol is with that.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that we see in the office, and I think that's about it.
Yep, so we see all ages. We'll take care of those newborn babies all the way through adulthood. And it's really easy to get a hold of us, right? We're at Atlas Chiropractic Center.
Just click our link.
Just click our link and we'll get a hold of you. If you have any questions, you can comment below. If there are private questions, you can ask for a private message. We'll get in contact with you that way. Make sure you subscribe and follow. I think you can have an alert that chimes in when we're live. And that way you can take a little break from work and get your little daily dose of health on Tuesday.
You get, more than anything, get to see Dakota, which is the cutest thing ever.
That's right. He's usually here as long as he's awake.
When was the first time Dakota was checked, real quick, before we get off here?
A couple hours.
Couple hours after being born.
Yeah. As soon as I, pulled myself together, and I could do that, I did.
And I think I adjusted you like less than an hour after she had Dakota.
Yeah, you did. And then he gets checked sporadically. I check him about once a week. Just check his spine. If he doesn't need an adjustment, he obviously does not get one. That is the rule for all ages. But he gets checked, and then again, long story short, I was sick on Monday, so you checked him.
Yes, I did check him. It was very special.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Well, until next Tuesday, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
until
for tuning
next
in.
Tuesday. We got some good stuff coming up on next Tuesday. You're not going to want to miss it, especially if you're someone or you know someone that deals with jaw pain, popping, clicking, headaches, and neck pain.
Should we high five again?
High five. See you next week.